What's up? What's up? Good people, it's Thursday night, so you know what that means. It's got to be the Floor is Yours podcast. Hey, y'all, we are back and we are ready to bring some more fire. So, you know, here at the Floor is Yours podcast, it is our mission to bring real and relevant conversations to the community so we can move the community forward. And we're excited to do just that tonight. Tonight, we got a conversation that I think a lot of us have maybe some misunderstanding around or some gray areas and so today we want to put some clarity around the talk around friendships, day ones, and who's got your back. Friends, do any of us really need them? All the cliches that are out there, but I can't do it by myself. I gotta bring the Floor is Yours crew with me. So here's my brother from another mother, Mr. Gerard Flex, the producer. Say what's up to the people.
Before I say what's up, I want to punt to the lady, the first lady. We're going to let the first lady introduce herself. Then I'm going to follow up behind. How about that?
The first lady of the Floor is Yours podcast. The floor is yours.
Well, to be honest, at first I was like, stop saying that. And then the Holy Ghost convicted me. He was like, you are the first lady that started with Gerard on the Floor is Yours podcast. He was like, get your flowers, because you always telling them, flowers. So it is your girl, I see, inspirational chick. I am here live at the Floor is Yours, and I am the first lady.
Yeah.
You are. Wear your crown. That's right.
I'm a
Absolutely.
baddie tonight.
Yeah. And then real simply, hey, it's always a pleasure when I share the screen with my people, man. I love y'all. Look forward to this. It's been a busy week, but, this is like the perfect way for me to, wind down and end the day. So glad to be here and looking forward to interacting with the audience.
Before we go another further, we want to ask you guys to like, share, and subscribe. Tell everybody in your contact list. Tell all of your friends on your social media, hey, the Floor is Yours podcast is on, and they want to get in this conversation. And if you're watching, leave us a comment down below. Tell us what you agree with, and especially tell us what you disagree with. Tell us your perspective about any and everything that we talk about tonight, because we want to have the conversation. We want to know what's on your mind. And so this isn't just us talking. This is a communication. You guys share what you think about the topic tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about friendships. We're going to talk about what it means to be in a friendship and how they evolve over time, how they may change and how they may shift, and should they shift, should they change at all. And then on the second half of the show, we're going to get into maybe some more spicier topics. We're going to talk about, can men and women really be just friends, or is that maybe an impossible mission, where sometimes people's feelings get intertwined? So I want to ask you guys before we get started, can you guys remember your first friend? Was it back in kindergarten? Was it back in daycare? Who was your first friend? You guys have any recollection?
I have she's no longer here, but her name was Diana, and we were in brownies together. Um, my little, I think she was more like an Italian. She was Italian, and she was little petite little thing, and she had like a little skin disorder. But she was my friend, and she was a hot little something, baby. She could get it in there. But yeah, that was my first friend.
I like it. Gerard, do you remember your first friend?
Yeah, man. Far back as I can remember, I remember Darren Creedell and his cousin. He had a cousin named Cocky, Oliver Creedell. And we all grew up, back in the Project Stevenson Courts. And I just remember we was young, look forward to seeing each other in school, after school, the playground, and all that. So yeah, I do remember them too as some of my first friendships.
I love it. I love it. You mentioned the cousin. My first friends were my cousins. And so a little bit about me back in the day, my parents could not afford childcare for the summer when we were out of school. And so I got shipped to Arkansas, where both of my parents are from, Waldo. Shout out to Waldo, Arkansas. And so I used to spend the summer months, those 3 months of school was out, in Arkansas with my cousins. And so my father is one of nine kids. So I had literally dozens of cousins. And so we would just like bounce from one auntie, uncle's house to another. We just go in and out each other's homes. And we just this was back when you could really be a kid. When you left the house in the morning, you didn't come back until it was nighttime. And that's what we did. So I really like those things. It was a lot of fun. just dirty, musty, and sweaty all day long.
Nonetheless, friends. Yeah. Cool.
Nonetheless, friend, little stank tankish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. The textbook definition of friends is a state of enduring affection, esteem, intimacy, and trust between two people. So it's a connection where people have some chemistry, uh, generally platonic chemistry, where people, hey, we got these things in common, and so hey, let's just hang out. I like what you like what I like, so let's do those things that we like together. Now,
Hey,
here's
can I
the
say
thing.
something real quick that I
Yeah,
think is important in that definition? You said between two people. So I know sometimes we can get focused on who is my best friend or we're a group of friends, which is not wrong. But I think it's important to highlight what you said, that
mhm,
relationship exists between two people. So my friendship with you doesn't necessarily reflect my friendship with Misha. And they
right.
can coexist and should coexist, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And there may be some nuances and particulars between the different friends that you have. The question I was going to ask, I'm glad you brought up best friends because I was going to bring it up a little bit later, is now that we are older, do you find it harder to make friends than we did in school or when we were younger? Because I think because we're not as centralized as we used to be, seeing each other up and down the hallways every day, it's harder as an adult to make a friendship. What do you guys think?
I think I make friends just easily, period, in my life, like for real. Like I probably make them a lot. I think I do pretty good as an adult.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I do. And actually, as an adult, my circle of meeting new friends is very diverse. It's not
Mm,
just um, the brown shades. I really have gained a lot of international friends that, that speak languages that I would probably not learn now. But if I needed to travel abroad at this point,
yeah.
I have those types of friends in my treasure box of life now that I could travel the world and I wouldn't have to speak. They could just get me in and I'd be fine. I'm trusting of their language
That's
barrier
dope.
that they could carry me.
That's dope.
Nice.
That's dope. I think that's an important distinction. I'm glad you asked the question that way. I think for me, as I've gotten older, and I think in my mind I'm a little more mature, it's easier and safer because I'm more discerning. That
Mm,
makes sense. So
it
it's
is.
not just because we have some things in common or we share
Yeah.
some social spaces together. I've changed numbers with people, and that don't mean that we're quote unquote friends. I think,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I think what's most important: do we have a respectful relationship between each other? That's it. What you talked about, healthy. That's respectful.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to answer your question straight out, yeah, I I think it's easier maybe to develop
Yeah.
because I'm a little more discerning.
Yeah. I have found that I am, like you said, a little bit more particular about the label of putting that I put friends on, of who I put the label friends on, because I meet a lot of people, and I think the three of us, because of we're all gregarious people, we're all a social people, that we meet so many people that they may assume that we're closer than we actually are. It's like, well, we just met in the elevator, and now you want to be like my buddy, like, So I like to proceed with caution. I would think that'd be especially true for you, Amisha. Here's a question I wanted to ask for the
Mm.
ladies and all the ladies that are watching. Please let us know what you think about this question down in the comments. Do you find it hard to, when you are pleasant, nice, just generally just being polite to a man, that he feels like you're flirting, or does he, or men able to receive she's just being nice?
For me, they just know that I'm being nice. There is a certain approach
Yeah.
that lets them know that this is very much casual conversation. There is no vibing there. I do believe that we all speak a certain language with our eyes, the way we smile and giggle and
Hmm.
communicate. So I definitely have not given any man at this point any type of indication that I like him like that, like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now there hadn't been a mixed communication when
Right.
I'm meeting someone. Now I may run across an old one, and I think it's just the way I grin, and he just remembered the way I smiled at him, and maybe it was just too much of a grin, and he was like, "Oh, wait a minute," and I'd be like, "Mm, that ain't what that was."
Right.
Don't
Yes.
Right. You know, on
And
the flip
let
side,
me give a shout out because my girl, my radiant flower Benita, back in the well when we were first in COVID, she used to shout out everybody, and I want to just tell her thank you on tonight on tagging some people to join us on the floor is
thank
yours
you.
for this conversation. And so this is what friendships look like. You know, friends just make sure they help out in any way that they can. Okay.
Sure.
Absolutely, 100%. Gerard, have you ever ran into the situation where it's like you just got good manners. You're a man and you hold the door open for a lady, or you give her a compliment on maybe her shoes, her hair, or whatever it may be, and they assume that you're flirting. Like, no, I'm just being nice. Can I help you carry those bags? Can I be
Yeah.
of assistance in some way? Do you ever bump up against that from time to time?
Yeah. So I stopped doing it. I don't open doors. I don't come. No, I'm just kidding. But in this day where it seems like chivalry is lost for different reasons, or it's
Yeah,
sometimes just perceived, right? That it's not there. But yeah, it happens. It happens, and I mean, it's just a part of it.
yeah. It's part of life, right?
Yeah.
It's not so much that we are trying to be people that we're not, but sometimes as a man, I have found that I gotta like shrink a little bit or pull back a little bit because I don't want her to think that I'm flirting with her when actually I'm just trying to have a conversation about general stuff. It could be the weather, it could be about politics, it could be about religion, and all of a sudden they think I'm hitting on you, but I'm not. I'm just having a conversation with you. Now,
I,
the
I wouldn't.
term
I wouldn't suggest you pull back. Maybe you go to get Misha to make you a shirt that says "I'm not flirting."
I'm not flirting.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
you
flirting,
can
I'm
be
just a
you,
gentleman.
and you
I'm
can
just
be
a
you,
gentleman.
man. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Shout out
Yeah,
to my girl Tina in the comment section. You know, she keeps the party live too. Love
Yeah.
you,
there you
Benita,
go.
too.
Why do you guys think that we use the term friend so freely? And why are we so trepidatious or scared or cautious about using the word associate, which is the general population? I remember growing up, my mother used to say, you probably have heard the same saying, that if you can make it out of life with one good friend, then you are blessed. Because the number of people that are actually going to be true friends in your life is way smaller than the the bulk of people that you're going to encounter. But we tend to say a coworker, oh yeah, that's my friend, or the guy we know at the barbershop, oh yeah, that's my buddy, that's my homeboy. We're really not. We're just associates. Why don't we make that distinction more between this is a friend and this is just an associate?
I don't know that it's necessarily I have to, and I say
Hmm.
that because, and we talked about this before the conversation. If you're gonna be respectful, you're gonna be respectful, right? My coworker who I spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day with, I mean, we're going to spend a lot of time together in close proximity to each other. So I think sometimes it can come off the same. I mean, so really, if you try to figure out like what is the difference, is it because I go to the house or not? So I think
Hmm.
words evolve and they mean, over years and mean a little bit different. But to your point, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think that associate thing is kind of just it's less personal, and I don't think it's as warm in receiving, if you will, as friend. So
And I'll piggyback on that. Because being at work, there are some work friends that are my friends. And I think it is a badge of honor. Like when I introduced some of my coworkers, because you can say coworkers or friends. And when I did it, I was like, "This is my friend Jim," and Jim just lit up, and he was like, "You told your daughter that I was your friend." So there is a level of respect that I give in reference to that, and it's the demeanor of how we communicate. And some people do come in as a friend. They are, you can go and you can talk to them and things like that. So I do believe you do have associates and you do have friends, but there are people in the work environment that are friends
Yeah,
and not just
yeah.
associates. Because, honey, some friends that you've been thinking they've been your friend for all these years, they really are technically an associate. Okay, clock that.
That is true. That is true. Are you guys like me? Now, I have friends, but I have them in categories. And maybe it's just the way my mind thinks. Like this is my party friend. These are the people that I will call when I have questions about life or God. These are my business friends. These are my funny friends. Do you guys like have categories for friend, or for you is a friend, no matter what?
I think you can get so technical that it creates it waters it down in too many nuances. For me, again, I focus less on the word, and I
Yeah.
know if I'm close with somebody, then we're cool, we locked in. And again, whether it's an associate or a friend, I
Hmm.
think just being respectful and is what's important. And we said earlier, as we got older, we're a lot more discerning about who we
Yeah.
even allow in our circles, right? Whether it's an associate or a friend. So just, I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it. Hey, and just real quick, I want people in the audience, the comments are coming in. Keep them coming in. We're gonna make sure that we get to them. We appreciate them, and that's what makes the show go, in my opinion. So thanks for the comments.
Now, Gregor, could you give me the question again, please?
Do you have categories for your friends? Are there like some people you say, oh, I just go hang out with these people? These are the people I call for business. These are the people I go to church with. These are the people that I like to go drink with. These are the people I like to pray with. Do you have
Mm.
categories for your friends?
I think it's, let's just be honest, I think it's a yes, because I have to realize I have a big array bouquet of friends. And
Yeah.
some of my friends, a lot of them have spouses and boyfriends and they hang well together. Now I can tip in certain environments, but certain times I can't. Now, can I get offended by that? I shouldn't, because that's not my setting. And just because that bouquet is thriving over there, that doesn't mean me. Now I got another bouquet. They have a good time, they turn up, and they don't like to cuss and drink in front of me. But at the end of the day, I told them I am human, and I'm gonna have me a margarita every now and then. And if they cuss, I'm probably gonna laugh at how they done cussed and all that. I just respect the circles that I have, but they are different. I do have some that I'm gonna come with that can pray and they gonna get down with it, but they respect me, they value me, and I value the same with them. And I don't get offended when there's a separate bouquet that is out there doing it. I'm cheering them on regardless, but
Yeah,
it's a breakdown of how that goes. And hey, I'm cool with it in my latter part of life. But probably when I was a little bit in my 20s, I might have been like, what I can do.
Yeah.
Growth and maturity has to come with that.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just know when I
Miss,
get whatever bouquet call me out, guess what? My feet may hurt the next morning, and I may be tired. Got to go to church, but guess what? I'm gonna hang out with them and get all my little sinful nature out, and then I'm gonna go and lay it at the altar.
go repent afterwards, right? Yeah,
get
as
it
we
out,
all
get it
do. Yeah.
out.
Amisha, you brought up something really interesting, diversity of friends. You brought out international friends, and there's some friends that you feel more comfortable with doing this with, and that with, the kind of thing. Now, we all have certain preferences in life, and I'm coming at you, Gerard, with this one. Can you be friends with people who have different political views? Can you be friends with people who have different religious views, feelings on
Yeah,
parenting and marriage and all of that? The Not just diversity in like where we're from or ethnicity, but in all ways. Like
yeah,
Gerard, or could you be friends with a staunch Republican?
yeah, and I am. So, but there's a lot of nuances in that too. So when you say different policies and political views, I think,
Diversity of friendships, yeah.
yeah, it depends on what it is. Like if you support something that's detrimental to my well-being or the
Hmm.
well-being of my community, then we got some talking to do, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if it's something that's like, hey, a little bit stauncher focus on immigration or
Hmm.
voting rights or something, yeah. But when you're actually supporting something that's detrimental to my well-being, then yeah, we got some problems.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So,
Yeah.
so it's not impossible for you to have a friendship with a Trump supporter or a Trump or someone who voted for Trump.
Now, so now you conflating, in my opinion, two things. A
Okay,
Republican
okay,
is
Oh, come here,
okay,
Stanley. Let me get some
Yeah,
water.
a Republican is not necessarily a Trump supporter. You see what I'm
okay.
saying? So that's why I say it that way. Like we got to see we got to get in the weeds and see what it is that you believe and how you see, because now you're talking about, can I trust you? Right.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and I think that's a huge consideration. So yeah, every
Yeah,
Republican is not a Trump supporter, but yeah, if
yeah.
you're a Trump supporter, man, yeah, we got some talking to do.
We got to, and that's very true.
Yeah,
Myself, as a strong Christian, there are some Christians that I cannot hang with. There are some Christians that just because we believe in the same God doesn't believe we have the same understanding of God. And that I've had some conversations with people who have some feelings around God and what the interpretation of the Bible is that I have respect for, but I don't think I can have a friendship with. So that commonality, even though it's there, I don't think that just means that we're going to be friends.
Yeah, so that's when you bring in being cordial. I
Hmm.
mean, I've ran into a conversation. I'm sitting there, what do you think about the big beautiful bill? And person that I like talking to, enjoy being around, and she goes, I loved it. And I was like, what? I was like, she must didn't hear me. And then she repeated it. And at that moment, and she was like, well, we probably shouldn't talk about it because, hey, I'm a big supporter. And I did it like this. I said we probably shouldn't. Now, it made me operate conversation dip with her, which we're not gonna go here. But I'm still gonna talk about a bike ride with you, and we can probably talk about what's a nice restaurant you like to eat. But there is now a line that has been drawn that we will not go into these types of conversations because I'm gonna respect your end and I'm gonna ask that you respect mine, and that way we still have a neutral zone to have other conversations. Now we probably ain't gonna be hanging out all the time like that, but I do know how to
Yeah.
sit in a setting and have the right conversations, and I know which way not to go with you.
But can we really label that a friendship though? See,
I didn't say it
here.
was a friendship. I said
Okay.
that's where I'm cordial.
Okay.
Because you can
Makes
be
sense.
cordial
That
to
makes
people and
sense.
it not be a friendship, but I'm cordial enough to respect the parts that I see about you that I can deal with. So we're
Hmm.
not a friendship, but I'm cordial because you are a person and you are human.
I can respect that. I
Okay,
can
got it.
respect that. There
You can
is
tell
this.
I'm over here growing up. Let me settle down. Okay.
Yeah. Let them use you. Let them use you.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. There is this African proverb that says, casual friends think a friendship is over when you have a fight.
Mm,
Real friends know it's not a friendship until you have a fight.
mm,
So I want to talk about levels of friends. And so we talked earlier about a best friend. And so I have had a best friend now for 26 years. 26 years. His name is Lee Barnes. Lee, shout out if you're watching. Uh, we now refer to each other as brothers. We don't even say best friends anymore. So if I introduce him, a lot of people get confused because we don't look anything alike. I just say this is my brother Lee, and so he's at what I would call like the top tier of friendship. He's my best friend. We've been best friends. His children are my godchildren. My children are his godchildren. And so it's a deeper level when it comes to that. So with the levels, we're talking about levels of friends. What justifies for you a top tier friend?
Who you asking first?
I'm gonna go ladies first. Let the queen, the first lady.
top tier for me is that I don't have a box to put them in.
Hmm.
Um for me, top tier is value, respect, and being present because there are going to be some bumps in the road. There's going to be times we're not going to always agree, but it's about how present and how am I trusting you with all of who I am, and that's in
Yeah,
any faucet. And I just need to know that whatever faucet I give you, that we can navigate through storms, we can, talk it out. But it is about the respect, value, trust, being present, and the love, genuine love that we have for one another is for me.
yeah, 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 yeah. You mentioned love. One funny little anecdote about my relationship with Lee, my best friend, my brother,
Mm,
is my mother passed away in 2002, and after that, it really just resonated in me that we're not here forever, and so tell the people that you love them, and so Lee and I are kind of sort of opposite. He's a real alpha male, so he's real stoic and the strong, silent type. And after my mother passed, it just came increasingly important to me that if I loved you, I need to tell you. And so like for months, when we were in the phone conversation, it was like, I love you, bro. I love you, bro. And he would just get quiet. He would just get quiet. It was so not used to that exchange. Now we say it freely to each other back and forth whenever we feel the phone, every time we end a phone call. We'll say, "Hey, I love you, bro," and I say, "I love you too, man," because you just never know, right? But that always made me laugh because like those first few months when I started saying, "I love you, man," he was like, "I don't know, we're gonna be doing this." He was kind of weird about it.
That's funny.
So, Gerard, what about you? What qualifies a top tier friend?
I think it's just again what we said, some of the basics, the
Yeah,
respect and the present, being present. I think what did Tina? She said something earlier, and she highlighted what Misha had said.
something
Uh,
about me and my friend, my true friends. Um,
So she talked about respect and something she said earlier. But either way, I get to that. And the reason why I say that, I think sometimes we can get so performative that
Hmm.
it's what they do that drives how we value or place them. And sometimes it's when you're talking about just being trustworthy, like a pair of
Yeah.
shoes, right? And it's not to reduce people to some clothing item, but some shoes are good in the winter, some are good, at the beach,
Yeah.
and neither are less important than the other. So I don't necessarily try to rank them if that makes sense. More than it's like, man, if we're locked in, we're locked in. And
mhm.
just my homeboy in the army, his name is James Rice, call him Dirty Rice. He loaned me some money once, and I went to pay him back. He was like, "Man, keep that. Just be there when I need you."
Mm.
Right? And
I love
sometimes,
that.
man, just set that expectation, and it's not performance based, right? Because someone may not get the opportunity and perform for you, but that doesn't mean that they're not any more or less important than somebody else.
That's good. You said something about the shoes that put a thought in my head about seasons. Like some shoes are good in the winter, some are better in the summer. Then we talk about seasons of friendships, and a lot of people, you know, are represent their day one. Say, hey, we've been friends since junior high. We've been friends since high school. Uh, but seasons change and people change, and sometimes friendships have to change. Um, and sometimes that's hard because there is this notion in psychology that a friendship can actually be another form of a soul tie. That
Mm.
sometimes the love of your life is your best friend. And so there is an intimacy, there is an exchange that some people have said that the love of their life has been their best friend, not necessarily their spouse. So there is that has happened to a few people. And so, with you two, have you guys ever faced any time where the seasons change and you have to let a friend go? And was that a difficult thing to do to let a friend go? Amisha, I'm gonna start with you.
Well, child, yeah. You
You
know
had to
what?
let some friends go. Was it
Well,
because
watch this.
you
It
just
could be
grew
honest. I
apart?
I don't have one let me go, but it wasn't anything that I did. It was the situation caught in between two friends, and had nothing to do with me. But because I was still over here with this one, then this one. But we were all in a circle together, and it had to do with marriage and you know mix whatever. Let's just put it there. So there are relationships that had kind of got formed in there, and here we are. And it hurt me, but however, at the same time, I looked at the situation. Um, maybe that's just what she needed to do. But has it changed my love for her? No. Now, however, this other one that's still over here, what she did to cause this friend not to want to be there, then she done did some backhanded stuff that made me look at her like, girl, this what caused this over here, and then you over here with your secrets. So then it makes you look at the dynamics of all of it. But I have had to be where people have walked away, and a lot of it sometimes gets in between about other relationships with other friends that different things. So I do know that, and there's some that I've had to walk away from because if it wasn't healthy for me and it was taking away life from me, I couldn't stay in that because it wasn't right for me to continue to be in this toxic environment that was going to drain me. It just wasn't. That doesn't mean that my love for you wasn't there. It's just I had to get to a place that I got to choose me. And that's been hard. Sometimes it was hard for me because I am a very loving person. And there's times I wouldn't speak up and I would take a lot. Well, that ain't the season of my life that I'm in no more. I will speak up. And I'm able to say that this doesn't work, for me anymore. It doesn't mean that I don't love you. And then we can talk and tell why. Because at times I wouldn't have said that, but I have been in a place where I've had people walk away and then I've had to walk away.
Mm. Was that just as hard as the ending of a romantic relationship, the ending of a friendship?
I think they can be about, you can balance them out at the times because there is a bond that was there.
Hmm.
And now there is if you want to call it a death to something, which is a suffocation of life that has to go. And when life is being sucked out of you for something that you had, there is
Yeah.
a place that you begin to flatline, but you have to find the oxygen mask again for self.
How do you know when to walk away? How do you know? What's the characteristics? What's the
Oh,
sign?
you'll know when to walk away. One thing about it, anything that depletes you, I put it like this. I love to use a plant. Stop watering something and stop putting some sunlight in it and stop fertilizer, stop feeding something. It will eventually die. And if that's what you begin to be in, you feel within relationships, whether that's intimate or with your friends, you
Yeah,
know when something is over. And sometimes we just want to tip around it, or we just kind of distance. We'll start with this distant thing. I'm just gonna distance myself. Well, now we might well just cut it out. We can address it as a mature adults at this point, and then let us be able to once again be cordial, respecting that we have outgrown each other, and I'll still be cordial, but it is time for us to separate.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Earlier I gave that African proverb and about the a real friend is able to withstand conflict. And so just because we've had a disagreement doesn't mean the friendship is over.
Mhm.
Um, I think also we talk about seasons is um, can they handle criticism? So there are times if you love me, you're going to tell me the truth. I don't want you, if you're my friend, you're not going to have me out here looking crazy. So if it's an ugly shirt, say, hey, Gregory, that's an ugly shirt. You really shouldn't be wearing that. That's a sign of a real friend. But sometimes people can't handle those types of critiques, and it's really hard for them to move forward because they are feeling attacked. Um, is that when someone cannot handle criticism from someone that they consider to be a friend, is that a friendship worth nourishing, or should they be reduced down to an associate level? So Gerard, if you can't be corrected by your friend, should you be bumped down to an associate?
Yeah, good question, and this is not me running from it, but I hesitate to put these absolute like answers and blankets on everything
Hmm.
because someone might be in a tough season, and the
Okay.
worst thing that can happen to them is to be abandoned. I think more mature people, if you're able, and I think that really determines if you can help manage that in a way because you're a better communicator, you're creative in how you address the situations. All right. So I think it just depends on the person and the situation. And again, I hesitate to put these blanket absolutes on these rules or these type of situations because I think each one of them is unique and different. And when you look at it from a ministry standpoint, because I think that's an appropriate way to look at them. Some people are in your life for a reason,
Hmm.
and it might be a season, you know, and in that Galatians verse it said when somebody is overcome with a transgression, those who are
Hmm.
spiritual should restore such a one. So hopefully that if people that are stronger, wiser, more understanding that they can be what that person needs in that season.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's really good. It's really good. How are we looking in the comments, Gerard? Are we
Yeah,
we got some feedback tonight?
absolutely, man. I always love the hellos come in early, and we got my boy OG Triple OG Ron. He said, "What's up,
21.
everybody?"
What's
And
up?
when I tell you, Benita done tagged about 30,
But
40 people, man.
they in now.
Yeah,
God
appreciate
bless you.
Benita, man. That's she's one of our day ones,
Mhm.
if you will. So
Yeah.
appreciate it. Um, Tina, always good to see Tina. Tina says healthy and respectful is the key. That's the one I was talking about earlier.
Mhm.
Healthy and respectful is the key. I love people I have labeled as friends. You're right.
Mhm.
And I think everybody is at liberty to label it. I don't think it should be anything that's forced because then it's not natural and it's not organic. But I love the healthy and respectful part as being key. So I'll let both of y'all come on that if you want.
I love
Oh,
that too.
I agree with
Uh,
her.
yeah, yeah. I think if both people haven't labeled each other as friends, then what you have is a mentor-mentee relationship where one person is pouring into the other, and or you have a sort of a um, I don't want to say leech, that's too strong of a word, but you have someone who's being supported by the other person, be it
Yeah,
emotional or whatever it may be. But for it to be a friendship, both people have to choose to label that for each other.
yeah,
Mm.
that's good. That's good. Tina also says, Misha, just a few weeks ago, I forgot what you was talking about earlier.
When I talked about, when an ex see you, they be like, you grin at them wrong. They be like,
Oh yeah, too funny, too funny. Yeah, but it also said healthy relationships matter. Absolutely.
mm-hmm.
I think sometimes people, we hear the word trauma bonded. That happens, and that seems like that's what brings people together because they have this experience of unhealed trauma, and that joins them. And not saying that they can't become a healthy relationship. Hopefully, they're doing the work. But yeah, definitely want to get to a point where it's a healthy relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's want to take this one from Tina.
She says, I'm received as being nice as well. Just keep it simple and honest. So I think that's when it was about about when me and you approach, and do they take it like you're coming on to them? It's just simple. Hey, how you doing? Nothing major. I'm not flirting. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think too, it depends on the environment, the climate you're in, right? Because you go to a nightclub or a lounge and you go and speak to somebody, it's almost an environment I ain't gonna say it's asking for it, but it's more receptive of that. So, but just every day at work, interacting with people, being polite, being nice, opening doors, I don't get that as much. So I think again, it just depends on where.
Yeah,
Usually,
you right about that, because even like being out at events, and you could be with friends because they invited you somewhere, and then they say there's younger men there, and they may assume that you're younger, and then they try to come on to you and everything, and they be like, oh, what's your name? And I tell them, and then they be like, oh, I think you're nice. I said, yeah, but I said, how old are you? And they tell me, I said, well, when you look at me, I need you to see MOM, mom.
oh man, too funny, too funny. So we got a couple more. I love this one right here. She said, "True friends are hard to come by," and that's unfortunate. We're a community that's just filled with so much trauma, and this is not making excuses. It's just recognizing the reason that it can be difficult. But again, I can just tell you, as I've evolved and placed myself in certain arenas, it's less difficult. And no, I just leave it at that. Just leave it at that.
They are hard to come by. That's why we need to treasure them, right? And because you can't, like, you just can't go to Target and find the love of your life. You can't go to Target and find a real friend. And so it has to be something that is appreciated. And when you find someone who is really down for you, show that person some respect.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Truth,
Hmm.
I don't. Okay? You said it's hard to find a friend at Target. Child, half of the cashiers my friends at Target. I'm just saying it's not hard to find, and you can find the love of your life at Target. Mine may be at HEB. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just know that if the Lord say He there, He there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's why I said I don't think we should discount or reduce an associate, a person that we wouldn't traditionally call a friend, because it's some polite, nice, kind, godly, and not just, I don't want to make it a religion thing. It's just some moral, high moral people that can be there just like a friend can. So,
Yeah.
they
And
took
Gerard,
things over.
and Gerard can be a witness to this. My oldest daughter had a baby, and we were there with this family, and they had a baby too. We were praying for them and all that. They is my family now, and I just met these people a year ago. I done went over there for the birthday party. They invited me in the inbox over here. I done went over there to Mesquite, baby. And matter of fact, I'm gonna have to post my picture because I don't be giving y'all all my information. But they my family, baby. You can get new people that will bring you in and be like, you know what, were they like, girl, is this the woman you met at the hospital when y'all were having grandkids? And we just became a little family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Again, I don't think it's necessarily difficult. I think it is more scarce, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know that I would say different. That's just my experience. I know everybody's experience is a little different. So, um,
Hey, God.
Benita also said my work friend Kelly Moon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gregory, you want to take this one from Tina?
Sure. I don't use friend freely. When my phone rings at times, just because that's when I know it's a friend. When that true person just checked on me or just called to say hi, that's when you know genuine friends will stand out. That's true. Genuine friends, I like this definition of a friendship. A friend is when someone can hear you when you're quiet.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, someone hears what you're saying when you're silent. That's a real
Mm.
friend. So someone just calling to check in on you, someone that notice that your speech pattern has changed, that's a real friend that can pick up on your energy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's something special.
yeah, that's dope. And I'll add this maybe a closer friend. Some people are are privy to a little more information. Like again, not to make this a churchy conversation, but Jesus had the three that he took to the upper room, and that didn't
Inner
make the other
circle.
ones any less important, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, it's just some
yeah.
mature people sometimes. She said, "Clock it."
Yeah, that's when I was over there.
Yeah. And Benita said, because a real friend is there and supportive in every aspect of your life. Yeah, and that's especially the ones that have the capacity. Gregory, you talk a lot about
Hmm.
capacity. And
Hmm.
sometimes people may be limited in capacity, but they're not limited in their concern and care for you.
Hmm.
So I think it's
Yeah,
also important to balance that part too.
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah, truth and fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do find myself being a little bit more regimented when it comes to friends, much like Jesus. Here's my inner circle, here's my outer circle, and here's the community that I'm a part of. And the people that are in the inner circle um, are far and few. It's pretty much now at a point in my life where if you're not there, you're just not there. I
Yeah.
got my inner circle, and we
And
stuck
that's okay
together.
because it takes work too. So you can bring in too many people, and then you're accountable to too many people, and then you start to lose credibility and dependability
Yeah,
too. So
Yeah, I just kind of
absolutely.
look at my just kind of try to be like Jesus in a sense, and just look at my friends sometime in categories of the 12 disciples.
yeah, I like that.
I got
You
some
got a
Peters,
Peter?
I got some Pauls. It's gonna be a Thomas somewhere. I'm just saying I'm being funny, but I'm truthful.
Yeah, for sure. You're gonna get that Peter, man, that gangster one. Yeah. Yeah, it said, that's me. I have categories. That's what Dee said. And Benita replied, you really do laugh out loud, but it's okay. There's levels to you. And see,
Mhm.
that's when people know you and they say that
Yeah.
that's okay. That's what friendship looks like. Right. Um, and I always point out the mistakes in these comments. This one said, come on, Misha, but she meant to say, come on, Gerard. Just
Now, haterville.com. Did you see that?
yeah, man. Appreciate you. Hey, Misha, you want to take this one from Tina?
Yeah, she says, me and my true friends cannot, I'll just say cannot talk for weeks and can pick up just like we were together yesterday. Trust me, we have party friends, friends we cry with, friends we work out with, and friends we work with. But again, I have true friends that feel all of these. So guess what? See how she my friend, and even though it was some words missing up in her, I knew what she was talking about.
Yeah.
And I came through and read it.
Mhm.
Friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Gregory, so you talked about the Christian side of it. I'll let you take this one.
There's some Christians that take it far too far for me, but it doesn't mean I can't be cool with her because I respect others' opinions and their love for the Lord. Yeah, even within people who you have similar mind frames with, be it political, be it religious, or be it in parenting or financing, you will encounter people who are at the extremes,
Mm,
and there has to be a level of we agree on the philosophy of this topic, but we execute it differently, and trying to find that happy medium there because we are here to sharpen each other. And there could be something gained from that relationship because of their enthusiasm there, but then you don't want to let it deter you or affect you too much. So, but yeah, some people can kind of be like, "Ooh, you really crazy."
Right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
religion can be
right,
crazy.
right.
Yeah.
yeah.
And Denisha said this is a two-part response. She said it's hard being in the middle. And then as I was reading that comment, she came back with this one and it kind of summed up what I was thinking. She said, a real friend is not going to make you choose. My best friend has friends that are not my cup of tea and vice versa. We like different types of tea and we respect each other's taste. If you know, you know. And I remember talking to a friend a few years ago, and it was like, man, if you break up, if you stop being friends with everybody that one friend wants you to stop being friends with, then at the end of the day, it's going to be just y'all two, right? So I
Mm,
think it depends on what the conflict is. Now, if it's something that has me questioning your trustworthiness, or if you're dependable, then we could talk about that. But yeah, I think what's that old saying? A friend of my enemy is also my enemy. Like all this stuff sounds good and make good for headlines and t-shirts. But when you peel back the onion and think about what that's really saying, I mean, like Gregory, now that me and you are friends, anybody that you're friends with that I don't like, you need to stop being friends with them, or you and I are no longer going to be friends.
Cut them out. No.
I'm the immature one. Maybe you need to cut me off, right? If I'm making you choose like that. So I agree with Denise. She said a real friend is not going to make you choose.
That's good stuff. That's all good stuff. You know what? Before we go to commercial, I'm excited about what we're going to talk about next after the commercial. I got a couple of questions I want to pose to you too, because we want to know, can men and women really be friends? And then also, should your spouse be your best friend? And then lastly, I want to ask you the question, when you're meeting your significant other's friends, do they have to be your friends too? So does your boo's best friend have to be your friend? I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah. So after the commercial break, we're going to hit those. Those are some good ones. And in the audience, get ready. We want to hear y'all's response on those answers too. So let's go to commercial break and come back and we'll hit those.
View it as a form of empowerment or like a linguistic reappropriation, as some argue that it continues to carry the weight of oppression and should be done away with immediately. How does today's music, namely rap music, play a part in the use of such a derogatory word? We'll talk about that. As we know, rap music has an immense influence.
We always talk about some of the hard conversations, not just the niceties, the easy ones. But Mogul, you hear us talk about Mogul Media, and there's a plethora of podcasts and shows out there, from self-help to religious to relationships. So follow Mogul Media, and you'll see specifically that one from my cousin Marlon, Dr. Marlon Ware, and the use of the N-word. That's a great podcast. If you haven't listened to it, go follow Mogul Media, and you'll see it there to watch and interact with us. So
let me pull my
when
shirt.
He says the N-word, does he mean neighbor?
Yeah.
Or does he mean nonsense?
All that.
Oh.
All of that. I have enjoyed this conversation. Listen, because friendships can be tricky sometimes. You got friends and you got frenemies. You got people who laugh in your face all the while trying to steal your place. It can be really complex, and there's no other place where it's more complex in the midst of a relationship. And sometimes men and women, sometimes our nature, our carnal desires, things get blurry. And so there have been scenarios, of course, I know you guys are familiar with, maybe not from personal experience, where you've been friends with someone for years, and then all of a sudden you guys look at each other as you're sharing a pizza and you go, now how come we never tried it? That happens. And so I want to explore this idea of, can men and women really be friends? I think it's possible when you're in school, like high school and college. Sure, I think so. But I think the older we get, it becomes a lot more trickier because we're looking to settle down. We're looking to find our happily ever after. So, Amisha, have you ever been in a situation where you were friends with a guy for years and then all of a sudden you start thinking, maybe there's more to this than just a friendship?
Never. Gerard, that tickled you?
Hey, sometimes you don't even need to expound. Just like, man, that's enough. Never.
Like never. Like for never.
And I believe that, right? Because when women put men in the friend zone, man, forget about it.
Like never. Like mm-mm.
Yeah.
And even if it got that way for them, I'll be like, now, boy, and a lot of it could be simple because like I turn into the home girl, like, and then I done seen all this little tat, and I be like, she need to run from you. No, it's never. I've never been that way. No.
Well, can men and women just be friends though? I mean, or do you think inevitably someone's gonna be curious about the possibility of a romantic relationship? Gerard, do you think that's possible?
Yeah, and I mean I experience it now. Me and Misha, you know,
And we
we're
know you
more than
Negroes
friends.
been out there trying to say we was together.
Yeah,
Guess what? We didn't
just
care.
cause she cute and I'm handsome, they try to put us together.
Yeah,
You know?
sucker.
Yeah, but yeah, so I
Yeah.
mean, I know it's hard for some people to imagine such because
Mhm.
a lack of control. But here's what I've learned, especially when I got into the entrepreneur space. Like you can't date everybody you're attracted to. I ain't gonna say you can't, you shouldn't, because it makes you messy and less trustworthy. Um, let's be honest, you're around attractive people every day, whether you're attracted to their intellect, their looks, or whatnot. But yeah, just to think that just because we're opposite genders that we can't be friends. I think just for me, and this is not a slight on anybody, I think that's a immature, incomplete way to look at me. You know, to think that hey, there's something about me that why I can't control the desires of my flesh because I'm not even talking about the desires or the attractiveness is not there. I've been attracted to people, but maintain my integrity and their wishes, and we're still like really, really good friends.
So, Gerard, you're in, let's hypothetically speaking, you're in a relationship and your girlfriend is uncomfortable with your relationship with Amisha. How do you handle that?
No.
I can tell you, like that's going to be handled beforehand. So when we're vetting each other, determining
Hmm.
if we want to move forward, those things need to be talked about. We're not just going to sit around and talk about what's your favorite food and what's your favorite color. Like I want to know your temperament. What happens when you don't get your way, when you're disappointed? How secure are you with yourself in our relationship? Because again, my relationship with her doesn't necessarily mean that I have to end other relationships. So now I'm gonna look at those relationships and say, like, hey, did I cross the line? Is there still some flirtiness? Do we need to manage that before we terminate it? But I think there's a lot to be considered, and friendships are important, right? We talk about how hard they are to come about. So if I get somebody that's truly a real good friend, I'm not just gonna be ready to throw them away because I get into an intimate relationship. If that
Right.
person I'm going into an intimate relationship is not mature enough to handle what I got going on. Because again, we're not getting started at relationship at 20, 25 years old. We're seasoned people with assets and dreams and ambitions and lifelong dreams. And all that should be
Yeah.
taken into account once we decide that we want to cross that line. And throwing away true friendships is not something that I'm willing to do.
Yeah. Amisha, same question for you. You meet Mr. Right, and he says, I don't like you doing that podcast with Gregory and Gerard.
He ain't Mr. Right. Let me answer for me. No.
Well, see, this ain't no watch this. So you throwing a hypothetical, but I've lived this. And when I say I've lived it, oh no. There's something that he needs to get within himself because at the end of the day, it's if you don't allow me to be with you, then you got a problem because then something's there. And I lived it. And I would just be like, you know what? You need to figure this out within yourself. But I will not lose or walk away from people that I know that is substance for me for the lack thereof. Because if I let the substance go and I'm over here, you with death in the valley, I'm dead and ain't got no lifeline. So I've lived it. So no, but however, I do say this: I won't allow my friends to be disrespected and vice versa relationships. But if it gets to where I have to make this because you're insecure about something, then I know you're not the man for me. Now, however, I was already in something when things like this occurred, and so it definitely is a no for me. So we probably be
Hmm.
me and Gia probably be over there discussing it anyway because I do have conversations because if he's not just my friend, he is my brother, and I can go to him and I'll be like, this Negro, let me talk to you about something. Or if I be
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
little Sally over there, and that's just, and it's no form of disrespect, but it is looking out when you can see red flags, even when things are already presenting themselves to be able to discuss it without feeling like I've overstepped boundaries or we're disrespecting. But there is a level that you have with the people in your life. So mine would be simple and no, we're not gonna do that, sir.
Yeah. 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 I think men and women can be friends. It does take, of course,
Oh,
a lot
most
of
definitely.
maturity. Yeah, it is. It's definitely can happen. It takes a lot of maturity though, and I think when you're in a relationship, it takes boundaries too. Like,
Right.
even if you're strictly platonic friends, you feel like brothers and sisters, your brother or your sister shouldn't be calling your home at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, on a regular basis. Maybe there's an emergency of some sort, but to have regular conversations late in the midnight hour with your supposed friend, I think that just gives the appearance of something else is going on. And so you probably want to stay away from that. Another question that happens with people is that in relationships, they say, okay, cool. You got an opposite gender friend. I'm fine with that. If something was going to happen between you two, it probably would have already happened. So I'm good with all your current friends. But I really don't think you should be having new opposite gender friends. So, Amisha, listen, all the male friends you have now are all the male friends you're going to get. From here on out, no more new guy friends. Gerard, no more new female friends. Whoever, what you got is what you're going to get. What do you guys feel about that?
This will be my
Amisha?
conversation. I am called to do the work of the Lord, and that's going to cause me to be in rooms that are going to bring in new people that I'm going to have to deal with. And it's probably going to be some men up in there. So once again, I feel like we need to get you a therapist because there's something going on within you that you need to get worked out. And so, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Come on now. That's just like, that's being in bondage in a box.
Yeah. Gerard, what about you? What do you feel about that?
I agree with Misha. Yeah, I think
He
that's
licked his
something.
tongue out. He said,
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. But yeah, seriously, I think there's something. Sometimes people just need to see it from a different perspective, or even sometimes you're answering that question based off of your perspective and how your experiences. And again, I know like that as I matured, especially as I get into the community and do stuff, some of my closest friends are people that I've met here in the past 2 or 3 years. So I understand when you're doing that kind of work, like you're going to build a bond with people and it's going to be trustworthy and it's more than just an associate. So I think to your point, there's boundaries, but so much so that, and I don't want to take it for granted that people are going to automatically know, but some things you don't even have to talk about. Like when you're in a professional setting with other professionals that honor friendships and true relationship and marriages and intimate relationships, like it's almost understood, right? If I'm dating somebody and I go and meet a group of people, male or female, I'm going to introduce them to my lady friend, right? This is some things are just normal to me. And I'm not saying that people that don't operate that way, that there's something wrong with them. So, based off your understanding, your capacity, I think that's how you have to move, right? Because at the end of the day, you got to lay down. At the end of the day, even if you're in the bed with somebody else, you're laying down with yourself and your own thoughts. And I want that person to be happy and have a clear conscience about how they're moving and how they're operating. So again, to think that I can't build new friendships, I'm agreeing with Misha. That's bondage. And where there's an abundance of rules, I think there's a lack of freedom. And for love to be true and genuine, it has to be free. If not, it's coerced. And it's almost like you're programming me to be a certain way versus me being able to freely choose and be in who I am.
and then there's a lack of value that you don't trust me that I can be in certain settings to be able to know. Like even when I go, if I go home and I see somebody I haven't seen in a while, and I know that there's a lady with them, do you know what I acknowledge first? I do speak to them, and I said, "Hi, my name's Amisha." I acknowledge that she is present with him, and that's just a form of respect for me, as knowing that you're his lady friend and you all are together. And so, but. And then let's go business wise. If you know that I am an entrepreneur or I handle business or I'm a realtor, whatever the things may be, and I have to be able to go into different rooms and I have to meet John, and John's going to take me to meet Bill, and Bill's going to take me to the next level to get to where we need to be. Then if I can't meet new people and new people can't come into this thing with Misha, then we not only get stagnant in the relationship, we get stagnated in purpose.
And you start to build resentment, right?
Right.
Because you miss these opportunities and you just know it. And so,
yeah, because now I ain't finna water you. You finna be a dead plant.
Yeah.
Slowly. No,
so shouldn't these be things that you talk about beforehand? For
Absolutely.
me, if I'm entering into a relationship and I know this type of stuff is important to me, I'm gonna find out early on. And if it don't fit, you must quit.
Yeah. Because
You
it's
know,
nothing worse than being a ray of sunshine and you walking around with a rain cloud.
Yeah,
mm,
it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
yeah, that's embarrassing to be,
It is.
out at some type of event and like, why is your person so standoffish? Yeah, that's not a good look.
Yeah.
That's not a good look at all. What about your significant other's friends? So you meet someone, you're having a great relationship. Now it's time to meet the homies. Now it's time to meet the best friends. Do those best friends have to be your friends?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
I
But we
just need
should
to
be
know that
cordial and respectful,
I
right?
just need to know that there's a respect level. There's a respect level there, but we don't. I don't have to be the best friend. I don't, and you don't have to
Hmm.
be mine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. But so there should be I say a certain level of cordialness
No,
between the two
correct,
parties,
correct,
right?
correct.
Yeah.
When the
Just so
need
your
arises,
significant.
though, right? If you're in the same vicinity and
Yeah,
all that. But I've been around a friend and her husband, or it wasn't her husband, boyfriend would call and he would make her say, I love you intentionally because she knew that we were having a business meeting. And now she would
Uh,
do it. She would do it just to appease him. But afterwards, it was like, I could see the frustration, right? And then it becomes like, now, thank you for pacifying me. I'm gonna need you to pacify me again and validate me again and validate. And the problem with that is we need to be able to validate ourselves in the absence of validation. I don't want to put the onus on somebody to constantly have to validate me and revalidate me. So yeah, it's just again, cordial, absolutely. But if it's if after we've had the discussion, which I think we should, then I'm okay with it. But I don't want to
mhm.
have to keep rehashing and keep reliving and keep explaining and keep justifying. Now, because now it's a question of my own trustworthiness and my own integrity. So now let's talk about what the real issue is. It's not the
Yeah,
person. It's hey, there's something deeply rooted in you that needs to be addressed.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Because
yeah. But
I've
there
been
has
in a
to be.
place that when I was in a relationship, I would hang out. I would hang out with one of his friends, was supposed to be his best friend, and his wife more than he did,
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
because he just was caught up in his world on how the process of thinking, or just whatever church.
yeah,
But I was more intertwined with them than he was, and I was introduced to them from through him.
yeah.
Hmm. You know what? That brings up an interesting point. Hanging out with your best friends, with your person's friends, and so with my best friend, his wife is like my sister, right? This is my sister in love, is how I refer to her. But whenever I reach out to her, I include my best friend in the text message. So she and I don't have a standalone text message conversation going on. Every time I have sent her a text message, because she sends me pictures of my godson all the time, and I'm asking for pictures and that kind of stuff, he's always included in the thread. And that's just a form of respect. I don't really think he would care. I don't think he would, because like you said, we've been best friends for now for 26 years. I think he'll be perfectly fine if I called her or sent her a text message directly. But I said, no, I'm gonna choose this to show my best friend respect. Whenever I communicate with your wife, you're gonna be there, present. Uh, do you think that it is okay for your person to hang out with your best friend without you being there? Like I thought that was interesting, Amisha. You
I
you
think the
hung
way
out
you
with your man's friends.
I think the way you presented the question and how Misha's interaction with them is probably not aligned and is the
Okay.
same. It's not like Misha is, on the regular calling them like hanging there.
No, so watch this. It would be like I could go over there. I could go over there without him and
Hmm.
be with them, when it should have been us being able to all be together.
Yeah.
So it
Right.
was the fact of, if he wasn't gonna show up, I'm present, honey, because I like
Mm,
the energy. I want to be there. I am
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
And so that was the difference. No, I've never just been where, oh girl, I mean, if I needed to talk to my friend's husband, I would be like, hey, do you mind if I give him a call? And she would be like, oh no, give him, it's gonna always be that, but no, not in that manner.
yeah.
Hmm. Gotcha. Gotcha. So we've always heard marry your best friend. They say that it gives you an extra line of defense, that you're going to have a great marriage. Marry the person that you consider to be your top tier friend. Does your spouse have to be your best friend? Do you think that's a requirement for a successful marriage?
No, I don't think necessarily best friend. I think that puts, and I like what Misha said earlier, you put a person in a box that they have to conform to this right here. And I think being friends is absolutely like a buffer. And it makes, because if it's just built off of intimacy,
Hmm.
and meals, you're gonna go to eat and you're gonna go to bed and do your thing and wake up and that's it. So I think the friendship is a buffer to help, through doubts and challenges and whatnot. But that title, a best friend, I don't think that's necessary.
Interesting. What do you think, a Messiah?
Well, mine would definitely have to be no, because I didn't marry neither. I've been married twice, and they weren't my best friend.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I love I could just be so freely myself. Now I probably
Mm.
wouldn't have answered this like this years ago, because we want to be politically correct in front of people. But I'm in a place in my life, like, for real, you just gonna get it like it is. No.
But going
Now,
forward, though, even if you meet somebody new, is that going to be a requirement for you?
no. I definitely I want a friendship. I want us to be able to, we should be able, I laugh and talk about everything, but it's not the best friend situation for me. I feel like maybe they turn into a best friend. I don't really know, but I've never looked at it like that. I just need you to be and become with me. And I don't have this long out list, which I never have, but I am in a place of being and becoming. What that looks like when we're together is what that's gonna be. So that's where I am right now in life. Well, that's where I am, not where I am in life, but that's where I am. So no,
I think you just need to figure out how you can be the best version of yourself, most
that's
complete,
it.
most trusting, most graceful, most forgiving, most mature. Like,
Yeah,
and they can handle all the darts, the fiery darts, if you will.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Hmm.
again, once you start to put too many rules and do's and don'ts, it takes away from the freedom, and then it makes you accountable to too many. Well, let me think about this situation. If I'm going over there, if I call at this time, if I reach out here, if I, it's just
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just want to be with somebody that I trust, and because everything ain't gonna go accordingly. We ain't gonna cover every topic, but if you're in a compromising situation, I want to be with somebody that I trust who's gonna do the right thing. Because guess what? If it ain't that situation, it's another one. If it ain't this situation, it's another one. So whatever the situations is, uh, are you able to make the right decisions to and conduct yourself that's honoring our relationship?
Mm.
Well, I'm going to be the lone soldier in this part of the conversation because I actually do want my spouse to be my best friend, and it's a goal of mine that at the end of my life, when I review my life, I say my wife was the best friend I've ever had, and I want her to be able to say that about me. That Gregory was the best friend that I've ever had. I think that gives a special nuance to the romantic side, as you guys were saying. It just reinforces that connection because it takes friends to keep vows, not lovers, not lusters, but it takes a friend to say, "I'm gonna stick by your side through thick and thin." That is a friendship, not just a romantic partner, but a friend. And so, for me, I do desire my spouse to
But
be
I
my
think
best friend.
you're
Yeah, because
conflating best
it's
friend
not.
and friend.
Because best friend, if I do, if in the end, yeah, I wanted this to be the friend in there. But when
Yeah,
you put it as just, oh, the best friend, does he have to be my best friend going into the marriage? No.
yeah. If we grow and
Yeah.
it develops in that, then all
And then
praise to the
when I
Lord.
leave this earth, we ended up being the best of friends because we
Mhm.
traveled down a journey together and we laughed, we cried. I said, "Boy, your nose was big when I first met you, but some kind of way you lost a little weight and it went down." And I love that thing don't sit up. I mean, that I get it, but it's not the beginning for me to say, "Oh yeah, I gotta marry my best friend," because he may
Because
not
I
be
think
my
if you try to what one person consider to be a best friend, even in
Mhm.
the
right.
confines of a relationship, can be different, right?
Yeah.
What
It
one talks,
evolves over time, right?
yeah,
It
yeah.
does. Yeah. Which I have to admit, I actually love the ideal of my wife having a best friend. So, like, hypothetically, if Amisha was my wife's best friend, I thank God for that because I don't want to know everything. I don't want to be included on every conversation. I would love to know that my wife has a reasonable, intelligent, godly woman that she can go to. And I don't have to be her go-to for everything. I don't want to be the go-to for everything. I want to know that she has
Yeah,
friends outside of me that care about her, to invest in
yeah,
her, and will lead her to make the right decisions.
Yeah. So I'm not saying in the
Mhm.
beginning, you end up getting, when you get married, I believe you grow into being the best of friends.
yeah,
You know, I'm just saying from my experience, I didn't marry the best friends. That wasn't the top of it. That's just my journey. So I don't think we're saying different things wrong. I just think each one of us have experienced different journeys of how that is and how moving forward. I'm still in a place,
Mhm.
honey. I'm gonna be and become. We gonna be friends, and in the end, we probably gonna become the best of friends. And guess what? He gonna be my. I want my husband to be my homeboy. You know, at times I don't need him to just to be. I need to know we can be over there. I want to be able to do like this. Excuse me, y'all. I want to be over there to sit like this and talk with him. Like, what it do?
too funny. I love it.
I
I
know,
love it.
right?
Hey, let's get
Yeah.
to a few more of these comments. Then we're gonna come and let y'all both give us some good parting thoughts and wrap up the show. Um, Denisha said, Gerard, if that's the case, me and you will never be friends. We was
Mm,
talking about if somebody stops being friends with somebody because you are stop, being friends. Like we're gonna end up not being friends with anybody. So I agree. Hey, my good friend D. I haven't seen D on here in a long time. Appreciate you for tuning in the comment. She said everyone's definition of a friend can be different. Absolutely. She said I
mhm.
try to align with friends that share the same outlook on what a friend is. And I think that's important. Like everybody's definition is different. But I think when you align on those principles, and what me and Gregory align on will be different from what me and Misha align on. And I think that's not just okay. I think that's just what reality is. So,
Mhm.
y'all want
Mhm.
to comment on this one at all?
Oh no, I
Yeah, when
agree.
you have, I totally agree. And friendships, much like intimate relationships, are largely impacted by the person's trauma. So you find that you get in these relationships with people that say, "Hey, I have this void, and I want you to fill that void for me." Maybe
Mhm.
it's mother issues, maybe it's daddy issues, and so I need you to kind of be
Yeah,
this filler because I didn't get this when I was younger. And based on your capacity, you may or may not be able to do that because different people's definition of friendships means different needs. I need more time. I need less time. I need more laughter. I need less laughter. I need more serious. All those type of things. Yeah, definitely have to be considered.
yeah. Another sister from another Mr. Carlika. Appreciate you for
What's
tuning
up,
in. We gotta
Carlika?
get Carlika back on the show, man. She is a powerhouse out there doing great things
She
on
Yes.
her
is. Yes, she
platforms. It's
is. Yeah.
um um mimosas and what does she do? Mimosas and menopause and mimosas.
Ooh,
So
Hmm.
she is a powerhouse in the space of
She is
dealing with
great.
um,
Yeah.
I just said the word
menopause.
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 Yeah, so we're
Yes.
on there.
I mean, you look like you going through it right now.
Hey, I might be. If I did, I caught it from some woman. So, but um, these no, half of me and my ex-husband arguments were about me not being friends with his friends.
Mm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
That's terrible. That's. I think we can agree to disagree on that one. I mean, like, you don't have
You
to
talking
be
about
my
Greg
best
used
friend's
the
friend.
song lyrics to make a point.
yeah. The smile in your
Your
face.
face all the
Always.
time. They want
It's
to
in my
take your
blood. Love music.
place.
Music is my love language. I love music.
Yeah, and we were talking about when Gregory asked Misha about dating someone that you've been friends with. Dee said that it happened to her and she wished that they had stayed friends.
I think that's when she was the next one, but she said she knew where the bodies was buried and everything.
Yeah, man. Hey, boy,
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Those
Hey,
relationships have a low success rate. If you've been friends with someone
it's
for a year or
possible
two
if
and
you're
you decide to
friends.
cross over, it rarely works. Rarely works.
I think it depends, but again,
It's
I think
rare. It's rare.
yeah, it might be rare just because it ain't tried as much. I don't know, but hey, that's another topic for another show. Ron said it's possible if you're friends with benefits. This
Just
boy,
tell you something right now, he needs a lot of prayer. So please don't pay his comments any attention.
yeah. And Carlika said, "Heck, no,
Me neither.
no, she ain't going that way either." So,
Mm-mm.
yeah, Dee did say she know where the bodies were buried.
Baby, that tickled me. You hear, and she still tried it.
And I love this one. She said, "No, don't force a friendship on me. I
Mm,
can mix and mingle with you and your friends, but being forced
on
on
double.
double date,
Yes.
Mr. Cedric, nope, nope, nope." And
Mm-mm.
that could be funny, right? Because you're in this relationship and you're friends with somebody that has a wife or a significant other, and they want to double date. You gotta be careful about trying to bring the other one in, especially if she ain't necessarily vibing. Hopefully that she cares enough or he cares enough about that you know what, yes, we could go and tough it out an hour or two, on a date, or maybe take a trip here and there.
Yeah, because
But
I'm in the car wanting to listen to Blow the Whistle, and she talking about, can we play We Fall Down,
we get up.
Get Up?
Yeah. So this is to the question
But I
about
don't want them to be fighting either. Remember the TV show Martin? How Martin and Pam used to go at it, and Gina was the best friend. Like I wouldn't want that either. I wouldn't
yeah,
want them
Yeah,
trying
that's
to catch
that
a
right there
ball.
was kind of fun. I'm like, girl, your man really need an edge.
called a Marmaduke, man. This is go hard on that, right? Yeah. So this was about going to the other person's house. She said, men think differently than women. I was raised old school. My friend has told me to wait for her at her house, and I won't even go in her house and wait for her if she's not home and her husband is there. I will say this about that friend, to ask you that she's very trusting of you, but at the same time, you got to make sure that you're comfortable. It's not just what she
Absolutely.
desires. If you don't feel like going in their house, think that's a good thing, then by all means, I understand it totally. So,
Yeah.
anybody want to respond on that one?
No, I'll agree with that. If you know,
I'll
like, hey,
agree.
that you can say, hey, come on by the house. I'm one of them. Sometimes I may wait outside, but it's not because I don't trust anything. I just be like, I just wait outside till I
Yeah,
probably be over there playing candy. I don't play Candy Crush, but I spend some cakes, baby.
spend them
Yeah.
cakes too. Yeah, okay.
The
Yeah.
Bible says to avoid even the appearance of evil. So if things
Hmm.
could be confused or misinterpreted, I just stay away from
Yeah,
it.
Right.
just to caveat on that, just to add it to that, I agree with you, but I don't think that necessarily appears evil. So again, but it's easier to keep yourself out of a situation than to get in it and then have to address it and justify and explain later. So either way, hey, I get it. But
Yes.
just part of when I'm in a relationship again, like we got to be locked in. We got to trust each other, especially considering the work that I do, the lifelong friendships I've built. They are important to me, and I mean, I'm not saying force feeding anything, but if that's not your cup of tea, the things that I'm passionate about, I think we're doing ourselves a disservice getting into a relationship anyway. Yeah. Uh Absolutely. Benita says she got to go back and replay it. Please do.
Yeah,
Please.
she said she
Please
had to
do.
step away for a minute.
Yeah. So Benita, man, she had a real cool husband, man. I met Bird a couple of times, man.
Mhm.
Real cool guy, and I, watched Benita. She's been real transparent about his transition in life after that, and she also lost a son too.
Mhm.
And man, God bless Benita for what she's been through. It takes
Yeah.
good friends, that she can depend on to prop her up and lift her and encourage her. So I appreciate everything that Benita shares because it's definitely
Yes.
made me a better person from her. But she says my late husband was her best friend. So I
Oh,
completely understand what you're saying, Gregory. Yeah, Bird was a cool
yeah.
guy, and I saw their
God
friendship
bless you.
on display.
Mhm.
She said when spouses are best friends, it's a different kind of intimacy.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, I think it's great when you have a male and a female best friend. Yeah, right.
And you can look at other people that have had that, and it is a beautiful thing. And so I just always, when I look at them, I could, I could see where you can be in the end the best friend. When I
Yeah,
was answering mine, I was truthful. Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There
And
is a
it's,
lot of benefit from having an opposite gender best friend. I think as a community, we're in so much pain, and one of the biggest ills that we don't know how to talk to each other. And so when you have an opposite gender friend, they help you with that communication, and it's very healing. There's so many benefits to it, I think.
yeah,
Well, and I'm gonna add to this though. When you say that these people have allowed each other into the spaces of everything that they need to share and all that, you can be best friends when you let all your guards down, and we gonna be naked and transparent with one another. That's how you get to those levels of the intimacy of best friends and relationships. And clearly, you can see that even like you said, watching Benita's story, you can just tell that there were walls that were not up, and they were transparent with one another. And when you're blessed to have that. I believe it is a very beautiful thing. On the other hand, if you haven't, then it makes a difference. But I believe you get to those places because there's nothing that I hide from you. Everything I am, I lay it on the table. I'm naked, I'm stripped, or whatever. And it is beautiful to see that, because that is the desire of the heart, to be able to have that with the person that you say I do with and you want to be forever with. So I get it. I do. And I'm happy for the people. I'm telling you, give you something forward to look forward to.
It does.
It
I
does.
think comes with understanding, like to have those high level of intimacy. You got to have a high level of trustworthiness too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Mhm.
it's not rules that make you trustworthy, because rules can be broken. It's like when you don't have the rules, it's when you're not being seen, when it's just you, how are you conducting yourself. So we can put all the rules in all day, and it might put some restrictions on, but it's the heart, and
Yeah.
what am I going to do when nobody sees me? And that's what makes a person trustworthy.
So that means, I like the part when you just said it, because that means when we get to that level, I'm trusting you with all of me.
Yeah,
I ain't keeping nothing. This is me, all of me, baby.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. That's good. That's good. We got a couple more, and then Denise said, "That's what I mean, Gregory." I forgot what you were saying earlier, but she's agreeing, or maybe she meant to put my name in there again. That
Oh, there we go. So
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
happens. That happens, right? Benita, she said, "Thank you, respect for sure, man. I
you
appreciate
got it,
it."
Gerard. She found somebody
There
finally
you
gave it to
go. There
you.
you go. That's a shout
Man,
out.
all of them was. Don't do that. She said it was a testament of time to get there. You're
Okay,
right.
yeah.
Put the work in. And the
Yeah. Put
effort,
the work in. Yeah.
yeah. So this was a good show, Gregory. I appreciate the topic, and I remember when you presented it, I was like, "How is that going to be interesting?" But man, you know what you're talking about, brother. So hats off to you
I
for
think he was Holy Spirit led. I don't think it was him. No, I'm just playing.
That's
the
right.
Holy
All
Ghost.
glory.
But this
No,
was
you,
good.
it was a good topic of choice. I will
So
definitely give you
yeah,
that.
won't we let you, Gregory, wrap the discussion up and give us some parting thoughts, and then you'll punt it to Misha.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The best thing in life that you can be is an example. And I think that the greatest example is, of course, of our Lord and Savior Jesus, where he says that there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother, more closer than a brother does. And so, if we want to be like Jesus, then the best thing that we can do is be a friend to someone. And a friend is someone who doesn't judge. A friend is someone that serves. And so, whatever you're going through, however you got there, be it your own fault or be it not your fault, I'm here to serve, not to judge. And the thing about us as human beings, one of the missions that we should be focused on living and walking on a daily basis is to stay strong. And the reason why we want to stay strong is for when those people that we love fall down and need to be picked back up, we have the strength to help them back up again. And so the best thing that you can do is be an example. And the best way to be an example is to keep yourself strong, because someday, somehow, someone around you is going to fall and you're going to need the strength to help them back up. That's my word. Amisha, your turn.
Good stuff, brother. I like that.
Thank you.
Well, since I'm a baddie tonight, for me, I just would say find your balance in your friendships. Know the
Mhm.
capacity in which you tote the weight of the friendship across the board. All of them will not be weighed the same. And
Mhm.
as a few nuggets from what Denisha said, you need to know who your coffee drinkers are, who your spirit drinkers are, who your shot callers are, and all of these different things, and you maneuver accordingly. You need to be strong enough to know that if you're not in this bouquet or this group of sector of friends, that y'all still friends, that there is enough of you that you are secure within yourself to be balanced across the board in every friendship that you have. But I will say, be intentional in every friendship circle that you have. Be present. Know that when you need to lean on somebody, to lean on that, because we got it bad on not being that. I remember being, as Gregory said, the poor say when they say be the strong a black woman. Well, I don't want to be her, and I'm gonna be real about that. I changed my thought process. I just want to be the sister of strength. That I am strengthened through the process to make you be stronger, to be able to withstand with you whatever we gotta face together.
Mm.
So find your balance on how you go across every array of friendships that you have. And if you know that you are weaker in an area that you cannot support, then that means you need to find the other group that's going to help you be better so that you good across the board. So balance, intentionality. When you have disagreements, have conversations, be real about it. And if it happens to be something that needs to be dissolved, do it with respect, dignity, and integrity, with character, poised posture, and still love without having to be falling out, tearing each other up, but just bow out gracefully, because it is okay to bow out at times. So all I can say is, honey, moving forward, be and become everything that you should be in every friendship, association across the board that you need to be. And if you're looking to move forward in a relationship, to be able to get to that best friend in marriage, honey, you're gonna have to just give him all of you, and this is all of me. You just got to be just naked and transparent. Just be free and just be out so that you can be happy in the end. And that's all I got to say, honey. Just be free.
Love it.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good.
You know, that whole freedom thing, I think is so important. And I said earlier, where there's an abundance of rules, there's the absence of freedom, which by default is the absence of love. Love, God, this demonstrated his love. He didn't tell us to do all these rules before he sacrificed himself with us, right? You know, we think about the 10 Commandments, and I think this is a small but important distinction. They're not demands, right? They're commands based off his behavior and his love for us. He don't demand anything. In Corinthians, Misha, this is one of your favorites. You said love does not demand this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there, you know, the more freedom, I think, for a love to be its highest performative way, if you will, like it has to be intertwined with the freedom of the will. And I'm doing something out of my devotion and love, not because I'm gonna get my butt whooped or I'm gonna lose you if I do X, Y, Z. I don't want that to be what drives me to be devoted. It's my trustworthiness or my love that's driven by my trustworthiness. And again, just saying, I'm not against boundaries. Boundaries are absolutely necessary, but we want the healthy boundaries and not those restrictive, in bondage boundaries. So this was a good show. I appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the comments. We got some of I was going to say,
where's my crew?
Yeah, not the old heads, the familiar crew that was
right
from the day one. We appreciate you, Carlika, Ron, D, my buddy D. She was on here as well. Miss Stafford, D'Angela Stafford, and anybody else. I can't name everybody because there was quite a few watching that didn't comment. So,
okay.
But I'll let you close us out.
Hey, you know what? This has been fun. And do yourselves a favor. Everyone is watching. If you have a friend, let them know that you love them. Let them know that you appreciate them. So, Misha and Gerard, thank you so much for being my friends. You make my life better because I know you. I appreciate you. And to all of our podcasts. What was that?
I'll make y'all look good.
That is a true statement.
Good. You do.
It's a true statement.
Yeah, that's true.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
And also, we can't forget the people that watch us every week. Thank you for being our friends also.
Yes.
And so we want to encourage you to watch us every Thursday. Tell all of your friends about us. Like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Let everybody know that the Floor Is Yours podcast is where it's at. And this is what fire is like. And so if you want the heat, join us every Thursday, and we're going to be bringing it to you. Thank you so much for watching. We love you. We appreciate you. Until next time, peace, love, hair grease. We out.
Gerard and Denisha said she said us day ones remember getting gift cards. Pandemic. Pandemic.
Yeah, I gotta wait till my income tax check come next year.
Well, baby, don't wait for mine because it ain't coming up with no dollars no more.
Hey, and Carlika, we coming to get you. We need you back on the show.
Yeah.
Hey, call out some time for us, man. We miss you and love you. Can't wait to get you back on here.
We love y'all.
We love y'all.
Need another, this one here really do it for you. Baby, yeah, baby, I'm baby, come down to let me show you how
tell y'all about my big bro